everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Beula Thomas. So keeping up with our cleaning series that we started last Wednesday, where I cleaned our Dyson vacuum cleaner. If you haven't checked it out, go check out that video, because it's so important to clean our vacuum, because that's what cleans our entire house. So this week, the next thing that we're going to clean is the fridge. Now, I know a lot of us might ignore it, we might just keep dumping food inside, but it's so important to go through it at least once a month or once in 2 months if you're really busy, and give it a really good clean. So what I did was I didn't touch my fridge for this entire week, because I wanted to record the whole process of cleaning every single pad out. I like to keep my fridge organized, and I check on it every single week, because that is the place where I store all of our food, the vegetables, our meat, our kids' treats, our dairy. So it's really important to make sure it's a clean space, because it contains all of the food that we eat. So instead of just watching this entire video, why don't you just go to your fridge right now and clean along with me. I'll walk you through the entire step of how I clean every shelf and how we organize. I also have these really cool fridge labels that I've bought. I'll talk more about it on this video as well. So go to your fridge right now, go prop your phone, or if you're watching this on your TV and it's in the room where the fridge is, why don't you clean along with me. While I was sorting out my fridge, this was the status outside. If the lighting in this video isn't the greatest, it's because of this. We've had an ex-cyclone called Dovey rip through New Zealand. Lots of wind and rain, and it's been wild for a couple of days. Alright, let's get started. The first step to organizing and cleaning is to empty out the fridge. The cleaning that I'm doing today is something that I do once a month or even once in 2 months. If you do clean it out well like this, maintaining it every week is such an easy job. When you pull everything out, you can check out the expiry dates, make sure none of your sauces or condiments or even cheese hasn't grown mold, and of course the veggie bin won't have any rotting vegetables stuck at the bottom. So that's what I'm doing right now. I like to pull out a shelf or two at a time, and then I work my way through the fridge. On this particular day, since with all of the rain, it was really cold, so I was actually alright with the dairy sitting on the counter there for a little bit. It was fine because it was really cold. So when I do this to my fridge, it takes about an hour, but since I was recording, I went a little bit over an hour. So I got straight into cleaning after lunchtime, so that meant the kids were fed and I knew they wouldn't come around for a snack. So choose a time when you know you will not get interrupted. All right, let's get into the cleaning. Since I'm giving my fridge a deep clean, I'm washing all of the trays and compartments in soapy water. So you get the soap all over on both sides of the shelf for the tray or the compartment that you're pulling out, and then you wash it all off. I like using lukewarm water and not hot boiling water, as you can see here. The reason is years and years ago in one of our older fridges, I used boiling hot water from the tap and the whole tray cracked right in the sink. So don't do what I did. Just use lukewarm water and then just wash everything off really well. And then once it's all done, I'm just popping it on the side of the sink, and then I'm going to give the insides of the fridge a good clean, and then I'll return the tray back into the fridge. All right, let's go on to that step. Like I said before, I return everything back into the fridge. I like to wipe down the inside of the fridge, so I'm just using a combination of vinegar and water. So 1 cup of vinegar to 1 cup of regular water. Don't have to go sparkling or cold or whatever, just regular tap water. And then I just add in a few drops of essential oil. Lemon or orange is my favorite for cleaning out the fridge or any kitchen surfaces. Tea tree oil or even peppermint is quite nice as well. So use what you like. So I repeat the process of removing every shelf, every compartment from the doors, and then I'll wash them down with the soap. Right now that I've washed the tray, I've just returned it back in, and I like to just wipe it down with just paper towels before I put the stuff back onto the shelf. You will notice that as you clean your fridge once a month or every 2 months, you won't have a lot of buildup, and the fridge won't have any funky smells or mold growing on the inside of it. If you're cleaning your fridge as you're watching this video, if you're planning to do so, maybe it might feel like it's a huge task, but I can assure you, once you get this clean out of the way, the weekly cleanup or the maintenance of your fridge will become really easy. I got into the habit of having a clean fridge since becoming a mom. Not that I didn't care about it prior, but after I became a mom, I realized the fridge also became a place for things like express breast milk in the early days, or later on for the baby's pureed food. So I prioritized cleaning my fridge like I would our bathrooms or our living spaces. So it was just the top of the list all the time. So now it's just really easy for me to maintain and have a clean fridge. So before we move on to the next step of the cleaning, I want to tell you guys about these labels that I'm going to be using on the fridge containers today. So I've got this from a New Zealand company called Simplify My Home. Their website is on the screen, and I'll also put it on the description box so you can check them out. They're also on Facebook and Instagram. I'm sure there are companies like this worldwide, but I thought I'll pick up a pack of fridge organizing labels from them, because they do amazing work when it comes to organizing pantries and also the fridge and all that. But before we go on to the next step of the cleaning and organizing the fridge, I can start putting the decals on the cleaned up side. So even though I put the shelves in, I took them out because I wanted them nice and dry, and I thought if it was in the fridge it'll get a little bit wet again. So here's what you need to do. The instructions are really easy to follow. So I've got my decals here, so I'm just gonna cut out one of it, and I'm gonna cut out, what should we cut? I'll cut out dairy. All right, so I'll cut out dairy, and I'm hoping I can stick it nice and straight because I'm not really good at doing that. So I'll cut that out, and then the next step is to use something like a bank card, yeah, so your debit card or your credit card, and then we're just gonna put this on the container, right? I'm just gonna peel it off, put it on there, and then we're just gonna use this cut, and then we're just gonna rub it. All right, so let me try doing that. I'm gonna put this down, and I hope you can see it. All right, so I'm just gonna peel this out really nicely so it looks like that. So it's a sticky, and I'm gonna put that in the middle, and I thought I'll put all of our milk and things. So let me just do it like this. So using the card, let's see if it worked. Please work. Yep, got Y, R, and D. Doesn't that look cool? I hope it's straight, but I think that looks quite nice. So I'm gonna do the rest of it, and then we're just gonna go back and put it all in. Alright, let's talk about the veggie bin. I don't know about your fridge, but sometimes my veggie bin just doesn't cooperate to come out of the fridge. I think it sort of gets a little stuck in sometimes, or maybe I shove it in wrong, so it's really hard to pull out. But what I do is I pull out the tray that's on top of it, then I take the bin out and I repeat the whole soapy water clean. I wipe inside the areas of the fridge and then I return the whole thing back to its place. So that's what I'm doing right here. I was sort of struggling trying to get everything into its place, but we finally got there. The next thing that I do is I line up the veggie bin and also the meat bin with some paper towels, and the reason why I do this is because it helps catch any leaks, or if any veggie starts to get all oozy, the paper towels soak it all up and that makes my cleaning really easy. I probably should have shown you the inside of my bin before I cleaned it out because I didn't have a whole lot of mess to deal with, because the paper towels sort of dealt with all of that, which was really nice and helpful for me. Check the dates on all of your sauces, dressings, and condiments before returning it back. Once I've loaded everything back into the fridge, the next step is to wipe the outside. I use a glass cleaner and I clean the outside of my fridge. It gives it a nice streak-free clean. Alright, let's take a closer look at what I've done to our fridge today. I'm definitely loving all of the labels. I think, having them all named and labeled out means the kids can easily find where the different things are. And also to put it back, they just don't have to toss it into some random shelf, but they can put it in the right shelf. So I'm glad about that. So this is one side of the door. And then we're moving to the bottom, which you probably wouldn't have seen in the previous shot, is the meat tray. And I've just put the label on one side is because I put most of the meat as it comes from the supermarket onto that side of the shelf. So that's what I've put it there. Then we've got our veggie tray. You can see the paper towel in the bottom. And so that's how I lay it out, and then put all the veggies like that. The bowl is full of cabbage that I'm going to use for spring rolls and dumplings later on, after this video actually. And then I'm using these clear containers from Kmart to also store some of the stuff. So I put all of the bread there. That's the lasagna sheets that I got to use for a dish. Watermelon that's yet to be chopped. And then I put those little clip-on containers from Kmart. Oh, and the rice. I always have rice in our fridge for our son. All of the yogurt suckies fit really nicely into these pull-out shelves if you're looking for those. They're also great for cold meats or even cheese. Again, another little Kmart container there. You can actually get these containers on Amazon as well. I'm sure the dollar store or Walmart or any other store might have it. This cheese container has actually got a lid on it, which I actually like. So it stored all of the different types of cheese that we had. Prep meals is where I'll have some leftover food like I've got here. Or I'm planning to prep some, overnight chia pudding. So I'll pop those into that once we've eaten that prepped leftover food. So that's what that bin is for. And then finally another bin for all different types of yogurt. I actually probably should put a label there that says yogurt. And now this is the other side of the fridge, which is where I store things like, relish or sun-dried tomatoes or these pickled onions. And then right below that, I've got some different types of sauces. So if you live in New Zealand, you probably would have heard of this company called Pepper & Me. Lots of addicted people to this brand. So I've got a few of those from Pepper & Me as well. So that's where I've got different types of sauces. And in the bottom is just some random things. I think there's some olives, some Arabic pickles in there. So that's pretty much it. That's a little fridge tour, and we've been loving having our fridge organized, and I hope this inspired you to organize yours as well. So why don't you get on cleaning and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video. Do give this video a like, and I look forward to seeing you next week with another cleaning video. Happy cleaning!